Diatomaceous earth. Welcome back to the Abundant Harvest Homestead. I'm Papa Pepper. Man, if you live anywhere that has a venomous snake population, especially if you've got things like this, like little children, now is beginning to be a time of year to pay serious attention. One thing we take very seriously here is identification, education, understanding the natural world, including the venomous snakes. I've gotten bit by a venomous snake before. It was my fault 100%, but what I don't want is for the children to get bit. When it's late at night, they need flashlights. A lot of the North American pit vipers are nocturnal. They'll feed at night. They'll come out on the warm nights. I just rolled up from town and got told that my family caught a copperhead in my absence. We do not generally kill them because normally there's absolutely no need to. I want you to know that most of the time when people get bit by a venomous snake, it's because they were doing one of two things, either trying to kill it or trying to catch it. There's safe ways to capture things. Guess there's safe ways to kill things too, but if you're the type to freak out frantically the second you see a snake and be like, oh no, a snake, it's dangerous, and then run over and start trying to whack it with a stick, that can be a self-fulfilling prophecy, because then that snake can bite you. So I'm going to check out what they got, and I told them, actually, I caught one too. 2 venomous snakes. So I'm going to go check with this lady, because apparently one of the children found it, and then Mama caught it. Darling. Yep. Pinky just let me in the gate, and she said, while I was going to town, you caught a copperhead.
Correct.
Darling, I had the snake tongs with me. How in the world did you catch a copperhead?
We had a long tool that's kind of like the snake tongue
The
tools.
chicken catcher?
Yeah.
You used a chicken catcher to catch a snake?
Oh, yeah.
You know, this is not her first time catching a venomous snake. You know, you gotta be incredibly careful, right?
Yes. We were very, very careful.
How did that go down?
Monster truck came to let us know that there was a snake in the garden.
In the garden area? Wow.
Yes.
Out in the open?
It was between 2 beds.
Okay.
And then we went up there after, I went up there after a little bit. I got that tool from Pinky, and she had a bucket. So
so you just kind of scooped it up and put it in the bucket?
I tried to do that, or trying to stay far away, but it went under a rock on the edge of the bed, because the rock is kind of open under there. I think it was trying to eat a lizard, so that didn't work, and it was just there. It had its head kind of peeking out a little bit, and so we just tipped the bucket. Pinky tipped the bucket, and I just used that really long tool to just kind of try to move its tail so it would slither forward and slither in. And yeah, it just kind of slithered in the bucket, and she tipped it up, and we put the lid on it, and you're done.
Yeah.
So.
It's good to keep a distance. They've got quite a strike range, and out of the North American pit vipers, your copperheads, your cottonmouths, and your rattlesnakes, the copperheads are probably the least intimidating of them, but it's still a venomous snake. It's still dangerous. You guys got in that bucket now?
Yes, it's in the bucket right up
You know what, guys? I'm going to show you something in this video too that's going to help you guys. You may have never done it before, but I'm going to show you one incredible tip, and then also give you guys an opportunity to learn and understand a little something, and I think it's really going to help. So stay tuned for that, but let's peek in this bucket here for a minute and see what we got. I'm going to grab my snake tongs out of the truck. So here is Mama's bucket. And that's one thing I'm going to tell you too. As you heard, Monster Truck found this thing and immediately notified other members of the family. If my children see a snake, they are allowed to interact with snakes. They're allowed to check them out, but after we have a successful identification, and that needs to be from a parent. They can find a rough green snake. That's not going to pose any threat to them ever. One usually watches, and then the other one runs to go notify one of the parents. Even if they think they know what a snake is, I want to make absolutely sure. I'm not going to teach them to be irrationally afraid of every wild creature, even the dangerous ones. You know, they can have an understanding of it, but if they make one mistake with something like a misidentification, that's going to be a problem. So, wow, darling, this is beautiful. Do you think that's a beautiful looking snake?
Yes.
Let's look. So, look at that. That is an absolutely beautiful looking snake, not very big. I caught a copperhead too. I don't know if you knew that. I'm going to show you mine here. Wow. So this bucket here, step back, children. Ooh, that's a little feisty. Yeah. You can see mine is definitely darker. Yours is a more yellow looking one. Mine's more of a dark brown. So here's the one I caught. You see that? And then here's the one Mama caught.
Do you think that would differentiate between the males and females?
I don't think so. I think it's just a different color morph.
Okay.
You can see mine's a little flattened right now.
That tail at the end there, the gray, it's just gray or whatever.
The young ones will have kind of a lime green and vibrant yellow type tail at the end, but these ones, as they get bigger, it just kind of turns really dark. Back in our native Wisconsin, we used to have the fox snakes, and fox snakes would have a copper-colored head, and they'd have a different long body, but people would confuse them with copperheads, even though we didn't have any copperheads in Wisconsin. So the fox snakes would get killed all the time just from people being ignorant. It's kind of a sad thing, which is why I enjoy education. In fact, we got a nice video called Keep It or Kick It, where we just kind of go through some different ones and talk about some of the snakes, some of the benefits and some of the dangers, and why we let some live on our property and why we have some that we kick off of our property. Alright, I'm going to get these out and take a peek at them quick. I'm just going to take these out to get a good look at them. This one I might need the grabber. Hold on, little one. You're okay. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Now look at that coloration, guys. Even just compared to the gravel, it blends in rather well. If you look at these, mine, the darker, kind of more reddish one is in front. The tanner, kind of more yellow one that Mama caught is in back. You'll notice it's got kind of a Hershey Kiss type shape pattern on the sides on both of them. Kind of the Hershey Kiss of death. That's one good way to identify them. From the top, it's got kind of an hourglass shape of the dark bands. They're not always connected. If you look center screen, they're not connected. Now those ones close to the tail are. But an hourglass, kind of like your time is running out. I mentioned those things as just some helpful ways to remember. Kind of a Hershey Kiss of death, an hourglass, you know, your time's up. Got to be careful with these guys. Then if you look closely at the heads, you're going to see that between the nostril and the eye, which they have the slit eye, kind of a cat-like eye, but between the nostril and the eye they do have a heat pit, which is that opening in the front of their face. That's where the pit in pit viper comes from the heat pit located between their eye and their nose. They got those openings in the front of their face. Crazy snakes. Again, not something that people should be playing with, and something that you're not going to want your children to encounter. So what happened up here?
I was trying to stomp a shrew, and it ran up over here, through here, and ran up right through here, and darted into these rocks. And then I heard the snake right over here. Right
Oh yeah, just right out here, huh?
Yep. And it rattled its tail at me, and I looked down, and it just sticks out its tongue at me.
Really? And you're saying that it rattled its tail? You know that's not a rattlesnake, right?
Yes, sir.
Thankfully, a lot of snakes will do that. Even some other venomous ones, they will rattle their tail. They'll vibrate it to make it sound like a rattlesnake. That can help you locate them sometimes. And of course, with earth tones, a lot of our garden, wood chips and rock, that's earth tones. That's what the creature looks like, you know? That's what they look like. And what'd you do then? Did you call or?
Yeah, I yelled a couple times, but they're in the house washing dishes and stuff.
So how'd you get Mom out here?
So I ran down there, I called Mom, I ran back up here, I showed Mom where it was, and Mom got a chicken catcher.
Okay, so he had to leave it and run back up just to let the family know. But he was quick about it. The snake didn't get away, and even when we have them do chores, we'll have them in partners, and they always have lights at night. So they'll have a partner, that way if they encounter something, one person can stay there and observe while the other person gets help. And I think that's very important and keeps things safer around here. I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity right now. One, I'm gonna show you how you can encourage these to be on your property. And if you know how to encourage them to, then you know how to not encourage them to. But if you don't do what I'm gonna show you that encourages them, then you should be able to not encourage them. See how that works? And then I'm also gonna give you guys an opportunity to kind of pick one out at a distance in its natural environment and practice training your eye to see this, because that's very important. One thing that we encountered when we moved down to the Ozarks is a lot of people who hated snakes. In all their hatred of snakes, one thing I noticed is that they gave them plenty of opportunity to be around. I am in the process right now, I was just working on this the other day, of tidying things up around my property, because an unkept property gives a lot of habitat, a lot of AC, or artificial cover, for animals. Here's a couple examples. This right here is a great place for a snake to hide. We've actually found snakes under some of our wood before, and the venomous spider, what are they called? Black widows too. Same thing with this. A lot of people use tin and just set it around to give snakes somewhere to be. I am personally probably going to take some of my barn tin, because I've got so much of it, and spread some out in a couple different areas of my property. And what that's going to do is it's not going to attract snakes to my property, but it's going to give them somewhere to hide and to be when they're on my property, kind of a detainment center. So if I'm walking around my property and I check my little hidey holes, I'll be able to know if there's pygmy rattlesnakes on my property. A little easier than, you know, going through a bunch of other stuff. If I just kind of check the hidey holes, if there's, in this case, copperheads, you know, it's not going to attract them, but while they're passing through, it's going to give them somewhere to stop, somewhere to hide, somewhere to be. So I'm going to use that to my advantage with some of this stuff. But the more of this stuff you have laying around, the more places you're going to have that animal cutting across your property may stop at and may even set up shop at. You know, it's not going to be able to tell from over across the street somewhere that you have some artificial cover laying on your property, so you're not going to attract it like, oh, there's barn tin over there, let's go across the road. But when they are on your property, it may encourage them to set up shop and to temporarily detain them. So that's important. The tidier you keep your property, the better it's going to be. The less leaf litter you have on the forest floor, the less high grass you have, the less stuff you've got laying around, the better it's going to be. My children aren't even allowed to look for lizards. We have rocks. Under our rocks are a lot of good snakes, a lot of safe snakes and lizards and stuff. But say Bugger over here sees a lizard run under a rock crevice, and he goes and reaches his hand in there to get the lizard. What if the lizard ran by one of those? That would be dangerous. So they're not allowed to do that. It just helps keep them safe. So let me show you guys this out in the woods, and we'll see how good you do. Here's a good example. Right now there's a snake in this picture. Can you see where it is? Take a peek. This one's kind of easy. Where is the snake right now? Give you about 3 more seconds. Did you see it over in the lower right hand corner? As we head over here, were you able to pick that up? Do you see how close that looks to the leaf litter on the forest floor? That is a really good camouflage for these guys, and we got to be careful. Alright, let's try again. So here's the next opportunity. And all I'm doing is I'm holding my camera about 4 feet off the ground. It's aimed at the ground about 5 feet away. And if you think about running around in the woods with bare feet, ooh, I would not do that. Anyone spot it? You see anything in the upper right hand corner? If you do, it's not there. This is in the lower left. Look in that lower left corner. Are you able to make it out? Let's head in right there. You see how amazingly camouflaged that is? Look at that snake. I mean, if you didn't know what you were looking for, and I showed you a picture like this, you might not see anything. Now that you know it's there, it's a little easier to pick out, but get to know that pattern. Get to recognize that. And being able to look on the ground and immediately pick out that pattern, because these are ambush predators. These will sit there perfectly still, waiting somewhere. When their heat pits pick up something small, like a little mouse or something running around the forest, they'll bite that and they'll inject the venom in there. Or if they feel threatened, if that's there and I come tromping along and almost step on it, it might feel threatened and try to bite me. That's its defense mode. I actually made a funny clip I'll insert right now to help provide perspective. So I want you to imagine for a moment that you're just a face laying on the ground. Okay, you have no arms, you have no legs. All you are is a face. Imagine how you'd feel if suddenly somebody came stomping towards you. Or maybe some animals came running at you. Or even a group of playful, innocent children came tromping down a path directly towards you. Don't look at it. How would you feel? They're coming right for me. Guys, don't you see me? Hey, don't step on me. I'm down here. Hey. What is your defense? You got two things you can do. You can either try to slither away as quickly as you can because you have no arms or legs, or you can try to bite. But you're not aggressing anyone. You think people are going to step on your face. You think they're going to crush your head. So what do? You try to bite them. And if you want, go back and I'll leave it in the tab and on the end screen where you can click on that video. It's worth it just to gain perspective. These things aren't really just cruising around in the woods trying to kill people. They're out there, and people often, I don't mean this cruelly, it's just true, that ignorantly, meaning that they're without knowledge about it, they're just walking through. They don't see the snake. If you don't see the snake sitting there, you're ignorant of its existence, of the fact that it's there. That allows us an opportunity to get hurt. So we're going to pick a couple more out of this forest floor and then we're going to shut this down. But man, Mama detained the one. She took it out of our garden. We'll go drop it off far from here, far from people, but in an environment where they can live. And rather than just needlessly killing them, we'll let them live another day. They have a purpose. It's just I'd rather not have my children have a mishap while these guys are trying to fulfill their purpose and my children are trying to fulfill theirs. This one too is kind of easy. I left the snake shape rather easy to find. Anyone see it at the moment? I also kind of put it just to the right of center screen, making it kind of easier for you guys. Because that's it right there. See that? There we go. That's the one Mama found. Let's try again. Here you go, y'all. This is a 2-for-1 special. A 2-for-1 special. From here, you might be able to see one okay, but the other one I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to pick out. Maybe you are. I'm trying to train you to get better at it, to keep you safe. Let's move in a bit, keeping them both in frame. How about now? Now can we see anything? Check out the lower right corner. Do you see the nice tan one, the yellower one that Mama Pepper caught? And then look about a third of the way across in the upper left. Do you see the one I caught? I'll pause into that one first. Now it's center screen. Can you see it? I hope you can. I hope you can. And then zooming back to here, here was the one that Mama Pepper had. Right along there. Recently we were picking some morels with a friend, and him and his children had never found them. My children had some experience, so Red Pepper and Monster Truck the Pepper found a number of them. But when they would find one, they'd be like, okay, there's one over here. Why don't you guys come look and come learn to find it? And then the man and his children would look around in that area that they knew one was, because my children told them there was one there. And then they would find it and be like, oh, that's one right there. And to kind of train their eye. Now, I don't suggest you just run out and grab a copperhead and start running around the woods playing with it. But hopefully this provided you with a little bit of an opportunity to understand them a little better, identify them a little bit better, and then also, guys, they're out there. I mean, they are out there right now. So be careful. Please be careful. I don't want you guys to have a bite get envenomated, have to go to the hospital, other things, have all the swelling, the other stuff. I'd rather have you guys avoid that, just like I'd rather have us avoid that. So I'm gonna have to get rid of these, but we'll see you later. Hopefully you learned something, and I'll link a couple videos in the comment section below. Please check those out. It could be worthwhile. Hopefully that'll be a good thumbnail. I got these ones back here, but with these guys on a branch in front of them, a board, just to kind of get that shot lined up for them being surprised about these. Oh, you're almost off, buddy. I'll put you guys back in the bucket and we'll get you on your way. Thank you for your cooperation today. Thank you so much. Worst thing that'll happen is you get bit in the face. That's why you wear sunglasses, right? It's okay. Papa out.
Thank you for watching. Hit the like button. Thumbs up. For real.
The cowhead is good?
Yeah.
That's because you know.